to watch this one.
It tends to screw it up. I mean, you can try. What happens is that we end up watching you instead of watching the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there must be a way to do this. Probably if I did it, there must be a way that you can join the Hangout without that happening, but I don't know for sure.
It'll like
whether-
rotate between you and then the other person.
Right, I think what happens with the Hangout is it's trying to show
Yeah.
everybody that's involved. So what happens is, as I said, what the video will have pictures of you as well as.
There's one out there with my face, and I'm really sick. I'm at home. And I'm trying to watch it along with class. And it's like, oh, geez.
No, is the other one, is the one in Canvas, is that doable better?
Panopto?
Yeah,
Oh, no, so the
It requires
connectors, right?
Flash Player.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Or Collaborate.
Blackbird Club.
Yeah.
And that consumes so many resources and you can't spread.
Isn't one of them going away?
I don't know.
They
Open up.
Just look to Google streaming, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the one in Canvas uses Flash, which I don't like, and which means it probably wouldn't work on any iOS device. Which
It works
may
on
not.
Linux, there's a Flash, there's Adobe Flash on Linux.
Right, I know, but Apple refuses to have a flash drive.
Really?
On,
I don't fault them for at all. It's one of the few things I'm absolutely 100% in agreement with Apple on.
yeah, Apple refuses to have. There are flash drivers for Macs, but there are no flash on iPad or iPhone. They refuse to allow them.
It's a dangerous dinosaur as far as I'm concerned.
And in fact, HTML5 is essentially Google and Apple's attempt to kill Flash.
You ever see that comic which is like the history of Adobe Flash Player?
No.
It starts out like it's not gonna be like, look at me, I'm the greatest thing in the world. And it's like HTML5 comes in and the final slide is just a broken Flash Player talking to a homeless Internet Explorer.
Why is that not big? Probably because I'm downloading in the background. There it goes, slowly. Hopefully. Nothing like a big black screen. Come on. There we go. All right, so I'll take a look at the assignment first, and then we will we'll start doing it. I may have to kill that download. So the beginning of this video will be of a frozen screen. Tell you what. I'm just going to kill this. And it should make this go faster. Okay, so I just want to go to Canvas first. So log into Canvas. Okay, and then let's just go to 224 assignments. My brain is tired. And this is views and procedures, and it's not due till next week for this, but we can spend some time on it. But the main point of this is to set things up for the report server. So these are some of the views that we can create, like a summary of how many buses are assigned to each bus bar. These are things that we can do reports and charts on later. Schedule for a particular bus. That's actually really hard. I'll try to work through that with you. I'm not going to show the times for each stop, just which stops it stops at. Does that make sense? The times are in there, but it make a gigantic file. It would be neat if you could arrange it all like a bus schedule, but that would be really complex in advance. Do you need to, is that your spot? You have it on your laptop anyway, right?
Yeah, from there, it would be very fun.
Yeah. So and then we'll do like the total cost of buses by bus type, total revenues. Basically, we're just coming up with views to build reports on. Does that make sense? And this is not a typical, I know that the people here that have to use SQL Server to build reports on student, different student statistics and stuff, views are all pre-built. What they have to do is then use those views to create the reports. Okay. So this is probably the most SQL intensive part of this that we're going to do this whole summer. And as I said, most of you have had the SQL class, but it may not have stuck, so we'll see.
Because we did some work on views.
We did views. Views are not hard. They're basically just stored queries. But some of these queries are kind of difficult. So we'll do a few for Community Assist because, as I said, I want those for sample reports. The hard part of this would be, if you were doing it, is to try to think of what views would be most useful. That actually would be the part that would take some thinking and work. If you think about Community Assist, do you guys have any ideas of what kind of views you might want?
Maybe like
Go ahead.
a report on donations.
Okay.
Last week or something.
On donations. Yeah, okay. What did you have? Did you have one?
It was basically when she was getting.
Oh,
sick.
donations.
Yeah.
Say again. Yeah, the grant requests, some kind of summary of grant requests would probably be good. There might be something like, the amounts requested versus the grants, the amount granted. And you could do variations of that. And some of these, when we get into the reporting software, some of these you can do, you can do some querying in the report itself. So you're not totally restricted to what views you can do here. And there are people whose basically their reports are just the query, the text, just organizing the text here. But typically these days you send it either to the SQL Server reporting or what is the other big one? It's a reporting software that everybody was using. What? What?
Power BI.
I don't think, maybe, but that isn't what I was thinking of. It used to be everywhere. I don't know if it's still is. This could go to SharePoint, but we're not. It's all right. I just can't remember the software name. There was a software that was the sort of the standard reporting software for like a decade. It's annoying.
My high school works for Microsoft on the Power BI tools.
Yeah. But Power BI is business intelligence, right?
Is that what that stands for?
Yeah.
I thought that was either business intelligence or business interface.
I think it's business intelligence. It might be.
Tableau?
Basically for creating dashboards and all.
Oh, dashboards type things.
It's not Tableau.
That's
That's
a
a
name
name.
Tableau, yes.
Tableau is new, I think. It doesn't matter. It'll probably come to me about midway through this thing today. And as I said, I'm not sure. Crystal reports.
Oh, Crystal.
Oh, yes. I applied for a job which required me to.
So a lot of companies, part of what Microsoft has done over the years in general with this stuff is that it used to be, so they did the data engine and then people would buy the reporting software, they'd buy Crystal Reports. So Microsoft said, well, why are they letting somebody else get that money? We'll build in reporting software. The import, complex import, the SSIS that we were playing with, it used to be you would buy secondary software for that, and then Microsoft just incorporated that into its own product. Same with business intelligence. Typically, you would buy other packages, but Microsoft just folded it in.
Are they just trying to kill other companies?
Probably, but they're also just trying to get that revenue, to try to have all those things so that when you buy SQL Server, you get all of those things. Oracle does it a little differently, not that it matters too much, but Oracle gives you the data engine and then you still purchase all the separate packages, but you purchase them from Oracle is what their preferred method. So they sell each of these tool sets as a separate product, but all attached to Oracle, whereas Microsoft has just folded them all in. All right, so we got the amounts. Maybe an employee, just for like a human resources type thing, just general information about the employees. I'm not going to do a lot. I just want enough that I can do examples. Because I think we're going to need to spend more time on the Metro Alt ones, which are harder. What else would I want, maybe? Possibly like donors. Just a list of all the donors with all their contact information. And say again? Possibly a report. You could do a quick report on grant types, but well, so in grant requests, there's a lot of different things you can do with grant requests. One of them would be grants per type, right? That's probably enough for now. So if we just wanted to see donations, now one of the problems with Community Assist is that the data set is pretty light. There's not a lot there. So the reports aren't as nice as they could be. Do you guys remember how to do a view? I'm just going to do create. Oh, first I need to use Community Assist.
Just create a view, right?
Yeah, it's create view, and then you just do do the query. So create view. So let's do. I'm going to put a VW on these. You don't have to, but it just is a naming convention. So I'm going to call it view donations as, and then you just do. So what do we want to do from donations? Select, probably want a summary, maybe. So let's do summary, select year, donation date, and I'll do it as I'll alias it as year. And then I will do month, donation date, and I'll do that as month. And then I will do sum.
You have a straight square bracket.
Oh, thank you. Good eye. I'll do sum donation amount. And I'll just do that as total. Oh, and month should be in square brackets here because it's a function name. All right, from donation. And then I'm just going to group by donation, year donation date. Comma, month donation date. It's too bad you can't group by the alias. It would just make life easier. Okay, so that would be a view, and it likes a go up above it. So if I run that view, a couple of things just for reminders. Where this shows up is down in the database, there's a folder for views. And when I click on this, it now has the view DBO VW donations. Right? To use a view, and this is true even when you run the report. Actually, in the report, you just specify what view you want to do. I'm going to do select star from VW donations. And I always do this just to make sure I did what I think I was doing. So we have 2 years, and we could, since they're not in the order, we could probably order by. But you'd have to order by outside the view, but you can't order in there. So we have 4 months, we have totals here, and you can make this really pretty if you want in text, but it's really kind of easier to bring it into the reporting software and make it pretty rather than make it pretty beforehand. Does that make sense? So I could turn this into currency by doing a format string, and I could do some other things here, but it would make more sense to do it in there. Yeah.
Down here when I try to create my view. Am I missing a formula or something?
Okay. Select year. Operator type is. Oh, so don't sum the date. Oh, it's donation amount. Oh, oops. Basically, what it's saying is it doesn't understand what it means to sum a date.
Yeah, I see.
So I would probably, if I were to do any changes here, change that to a cap. If you change a view, you have to go from create to alter, and then you can make changes if you want. That's assuming that the view was successful in the beginning. Okay, so that's one report that one view that we can have. Does this feel like the SQL class a little?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the grant requests, and what we'll do is something very similar, and then we'll do a couple of different grant requests. And then we'll look at the ones that for the Metro Alt. So I'm going to do, and again, it wants it to be in its own batch. So I do a go create view VW. I'm just going to say grant requests at this one as, and what we'll do is we'll just do, most of our things will be on the grant request table actually, but not create. Select so not grant review, just grant requests. So we want the let's do year date, year, grant request date. And I'll do a year. I'm going to break this down just for, they actually say it's better to put your commas like this at the beginning for style. Seems a little weird sometimes, but that's
Is it
actually,
a SQL Server thing specifically?
no, not the SQL thing. It says it's easier to make sure you have all your commas that way.
Depends on how you read the code, I suppose.
I usually don't do that, but I have read in more than one place that that's considered a preferred way to do it. So I'm going to do month, grant request date. The other thing about views, every field has to have a name. When you do a function like year or month, if you don't give it an alias, it's going to just say unnamed field, basically, but that's not allowed in a view. It has to have a name. So then I'm going to do, I will do the grant type name. Okay, and I'm going to do some grant request amount. This is going to actually be a little bit complicated because it's going to be about 3 tables. And I'll just do that as request as the name of that field. I will post these too if you get too messed up with these, and I'll post the other ones that we're doing too. So one of the things that I'm going to do we need the explanation? Probably not for the summary. I'm going to go down to the review also. So grant request, grant review. And I think what I want is not necessarily the review date or the, what I want is like the status and the amount allocated. So I'm going to say grant request status. And some allocation, grant allocation amount. And we could do some other, so I'm going to say, we'll call it allocation. I think that's enough for this one. We could do some math. We could do the difference between, but let's just do from grant request. And I'm going to call that GR. Inner join grant type, I'll just call that GT, on GR dot grant type key equals GT dot grant type key. And I do one more inner join with grant review, which I'll call, how about GREB, Grev, on, that's just a GR dot grant request key equals GREB dot grant request key. All right, so let me lower this so I can get the whole thing in there. So this could be a bit of a pain if you were doing, I mean, one nice thing about creating a view is you don't have to write this equation in this query again. Save the query. So I did it, created a view. This is a thing of grant requests. I'm getting the grant request date, year and month. Oh, I have to do one other thing down here before I finish. We're doing the grant type name as opposed to just the grant key. We're getting the sum of the grant request, the sum of the grant allocation amount. We're getting the status. I have to group by. And hopefully this will be, so I'm going to group by, and I have to group by the year, grant request date, month grant request date.
You forgot your T in grant.
Oh,
on the
thank
first
you.
one.
Okay, I'm going to press enter here. We'll just keep going. That needs a, I guess I can do a comma down here. And we have to group by grant type name. And we have to group by grant request status. Do you guys understand how group bys work again? I know you did it, but. Yeah, anything that is not part of these sum statements has to be grouped by. Whenever you have a aggregate function, you have to group by everything else that's not part of the function. Let's see if this does what I think it does. So I'm going to run this all the way up to the top, not to the donation, to the beginning of this one. So it created it successfully. I'm just going to select from the view. And let's see what we got. So we might have more than we want here. Because it's grouping by the year and the month might be good, but maybe we don't want the grant type name.
Yeah.
We might do that as a separate report. I'm just looking at the results and thinking that's. Let's look at, and the difference, these are differentiated because of the, so we might make this into some separate, I was trying to do it all together, but I was thinking it might make better to do it. All right, so I'm going to remove the grant type name. We'll do that as a separate query. And I think I'm going to remove the status too. So I'm going to alter this. So what I have now is I have year and month, sum of the grant request amount, and sum of the allocation. And then on the group by, I can get rid of those two also. And just group by the dates. I'm going to run this back up, and then I'll pause on this in a minute. Make sure that this gives me what I really want. That looks a little better for a summary table. If we want it, we could add the difference between the request and the allocation. I guess you guys don't care. Doesn't matter too much, I guess. So let me walk through what I did again on the revise. So this is the revised one. I have year, grant request date. I have month, grant request date. I have sum of the grant request amount, and I have sum of the grant allocation amount. So the joins are still grant request, GR, inner join grant type. So those two tables are joined by the grant type key. GR.grant type key equals GT grant type key. Inner join grant review, and I call that GREV, which is grant review. On GR grant request key equals GREV grant request key. And then I grouped by year and I grouped by month.
Can you check out grant request status out?
Yes, I took the status and I took the, just because it was giving me, I think what I'll do is I'll do a separate one by type. I don't know if I'll bother with the status, but I'll do one by type. So, okay, so group by year, let's select year, month, so, from graph request. That's good. Now you did write that out, both review, right?
Yeah, just this is the result of the whole thing.
So if you look at the graph testing and graph type status, then do the allocation. Because in the group by then you can have it. Okay, Eric. Questions on that? So I said I will post this, and this one is just for samples. Choose work.
Just your comment.
Yeah, three comments are okay. What would you? I would get rid of the grant type name. It's saying, and yeah, that should have. It was because you weren't grouping by the grant type name. All right, so let's do the one for the grant types, and then might do the employee one, maybe the donors, and we'll call that good for the community assist. Is it ringing any bells, or is this? All right. To some extent, this is, I said, just creating stuff so we have stuff to make for reports. You could make reports off the raw data without creating views. But essentially what that means is that in the reporting software, you'd have to write this view. You'd have to write the query that we're putting into the view in the reporting software. Right? So that is another way you can do it. You can just make your reports off the raw data, but you would have to, if you wanted summaries of the data, you'd have to basically do this anyway.
The same place,
What?
like the same format?
Yeah, well, you might not have to save it as a view, but you'd probably want to write. So when you do the source, you probably want to do some summary like this. There are some summary tools and things, but actually, I think it's easier to work from the view. It's hard to write it in SQL than to figure out the summary tools. But it is possible. So I'm going to go. We'll just create two more views, I think, of this. So create view, VW. I'm going to call it grant type. Maybe grant type totals as, and I'm just going to select this one. I'll just do the year. We've got 2 years, but and I'll do grant request date. Make it year. And then I'm going to do grant type name.
Steve,
Yeah.
talked a lot about this. So when you make the lattice, how do you make the space between?
How do I make
I
what?
mean, space between words.
Should just be able to press.
So you just be space something.
Yeah. As long as you have the square brackets.
Okay.
You can. The square brackets are basically there to say that this is, if it's a function or if it's got illegal characters like spaces, it'll treat it as a unit. So you can put anything you want in the, as long as you put square brackets around it. It allows you to even do other illegal characters such as % signs and @ signs or something. They're illegal in the SQL general, but you can put them in square brackets and they'll be all right. So I'm going to do
You just gotta go with the name.
yeah, I am. You don't have to. You can alias it if you want. Sometimes for the report, it's nice. I'm going to do grant request amount. Maybe, do we want just the request amounts, or do we want the allocations too? Guess let's do the allocations too. Grant allocation amount, I think. So this would be from grant request. Inner join grant type. So we have the same 3 tables. In fact, if you want to just cheat, you could probably get by with just copying that. And we want to group by the year. And then the other thing we want to group by is grant type name. Oh, well, those should be sums up here. I'm tired, so I'm
Courtesy of cats.
courtesy of cats, mostly, yes. So we need to also do group by grant type name. And that should do it. So I just copied and pasted this so that if you want to write it, you can. Because it had the same 3 tables.
You have to make any alterations to the code that was copied and pasted.
No. I'll give it just a minute. So if I run that, I have to alias these. So grant request amount. So I would just say request. And this one I would do as allocation. So I said you can't have any unnamed columns. Okay. So I'm just going to select from BW grant type totals. And see what I got. I always do this. I mean, I always run a select just to make sure. So what this shows me is for each year, the total for each kind of grant. So there were 20, that's screwed up. But it's screwed. I know why it's screwed up. A couple of these are screwed up. When I copied all the data from one version of the database into another, and things went askew. I remember that, which is why the allocations are larger than the requests.
Oh, yeah.
Things got off kilter in terms of the keys a little bit.
I thought they were when I just tried to preview it.
It says, yeah, grant type name is invalid in this.
Right, but you have to prove that.
Oh, and I didn't have copies, so they didn't get that. And then they also took grant. Yeah, and they did grant type.
Steve,
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. Create these points having been already filled out. It doesn't say.
Well, that's because we did grant requests.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. All right, so I think I'm only going to do one more, and then we'll have enough to play with for reporting when we do that next week. And then we'll look at the ones for Metro Alls, and we'll do the ones together that we need to that are carbon. So I think I'm just going to do the human resources. We could do the donors too, but let's just do the human resources one. So I'm going to create view.
We're using Metro.
Not yet.
Oh,
I'm just going to call this employees. And so kind of what I'm going to do is just give all the information about employees. And then, as I said, I think this will be all that. So I don't know if you'd actually create a report on this. You might on the donors, but let's do it anyway. So we want the person, select person last name, and you might want to alias these as like last name. Person first name. I always do last name first, but you could do it the other way if you want. And then I'm going to do person email. And I'm just going to make that email. And then I'm going to do, so let's look under employee. I'm going to do employee hire date. And I'm just going to make it as hire date. And I'm going to do employee annual salary. I'm just going to call it salary. And I think I'm going to, although this will make one employee done twice, I'm going to go down to employee position. I'm going to do position name and just call it, actually I'm going to put in square brackets, position. Okay, so those are the fields. They come from, we're going to need 4 tables, actually. So the first one will be from person. And I'm going to interjoin that with employee. On P dot person key equals E dot person key. And then I'm going to interjoin employee position. We'll call that EP. On E dot employee key equals EP dot employee key. And then the last one we need to join with is position. So I'm going to call it POS. On EP dot position key equals POS dot position key. So the hardest part of doing this on might just be knowing where everything relates. The reason I had to go to position is that I put position name there instead of the position key. So I did last name, first name, email, date, hire date, salary, and position name. The first 3 are from a person table. The hire date and salary are from the employee table. We aren't actually taking anything from the employee position table, but we have to use it to get to the position name. So I'm going to highlight all of that. I didn't group by anything because they're not summing by anything. So if I do this, and we could have made it even worse, we could have added all the address information. So I'm just going to select star from VW employee. Is that what I named it? Ease. Okay. So is it?
One person in employees, because they have 2.
They have 2 positions. Yeah. Mary Lewis at the top has 2. She's a manager and web donation supervisor.
Hope she's getting paid good.
Well, so one of the things that would, and this could be a false thing if you did it. So I have her at 65.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pay her that for both of them. She's not making. So it's doubled. It doubled the reporting of her salary, but it's not. And this is something that, not for this, but when you're summarizing things, you have to be careful that things don't accidentally get duplicated when you summarize, because you could get some wildly wrong numbers. And it won't throw any errors, and it won't give you any hints that you're getting wildly wrong numbers. So you have to be careful of those things sneaking in. So this would be valid if you were summarizing salaries. What you wouldn't want is probably the position information in there, unless you were grouping it by position or something.
Is associate just being like intern instead of get paid anything?
Yeah, I think so. They're volunteers. One volunteer does get paid something. I just made this stuff up. All right. I think that's enough of the those. I will post them. But let's look at the assignment ones, and let's identify the ones that you're pretty sure you need help with. And then, as I said, once we've done all of these, we can do reports, but I think that'll happen next week. I'm going to let you do a few on your own or give them a try, but I'm going to see which ones. Right, summary of how many buses are assigned to each bus barn. I think that's actually not too hard. You guys think you could do it or not? I can help if you do, but it's just, you're grouping by the barn, basically, and then count the buses. Schedule for particular bus. I said to do it as a stored procedure where you can pass the thing in. That's a bit hard. So I think I should probably try to do this. The total revenues per city per year. That could be a little difficult. But maybe not, you guys. Which ones do you think? This one is fairly easy. Total cost of buses by bus type. Total revenues per year is fairly easy. The only thing is, how do you calculate revenues? Which I can show you. The count of employees by position, that's fairly easy. This one is hard. And I'm actually not too worried about whether we actually get that one done. The cost of the bus versus the amount of fares earned by that bus, we'll see about that.
The fare says ridership times the fare amount.
Yes.
So we don't consider bus passes or.
No, it's very simple.
Okay.
So if we look at ridership, so let's go to Metro Alt. And go to tables. Well, actually, I could just do. And then I'm just going to say select star from ridership. So notice how they have a fare key here. So the fare key, if we look at fares, there are 4 of them. They go up slightly each year. So basically, if you want to figure out how much money was earned on a particular thing, you can do select. That's actually just so. This gets a little complicated, but let's just do, so let's do year. And in fare, if we go back to ridership, we'll see that it links to the bus schedule assignment. So if we do bus schedule assignment,
And you've got a double N.
yeah, I'm missing a which?
Yes, it's on the schedule.
Oh, 2 schedules, right? Hopefully that's right. But I really regret sometimes writing these fields so long. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to do year. And then what I'm going to do is a sum. And it would be riders times, and I want to see what the field is there, fare amount. And what do we want to call that? Just total? Total fares, whatever. All right, so I'm going to do from bus schedule assignment. Because a lot of the things are going to be inner join writers. Is it ridership? It's ridership. So on BSA dot bus schedule assignment key. I should drag these in because I can't spell. R dot bus schedule assignment key. And then inner join fare on F dot fare key. Oh, I know why. Why not getting any IntelliSense or anything else? I'm missing a comma. Fare key equals R dot fare key. Now this doesn't, what did I do? I'm gonna just hunt on that and go to ridership, columns, and drag that in. Okay. So this is just to see how you would calculate fares. And I didn't group by. I have to group by year. Now it should work. There's a lot of money there. I don't know how accurate that would all be. And you could turn that into, that is a lot.
How do you format?
If I were to format it, so a couple of things you could do is you could leave the format to the reporting software, or you could, so let's see, you could do format I'm going to just do a dollars, oops, quotes, $, space, 1, 1, 2, 0. Let's see what that does. Okay, that worked. But as I said, I'm not sure. Sometimes it's hard to undo this. You may want to format it slightly differently in the report. And if you format it in the view, it may mess you up.
I'm getting, yeah, a couple of errors actually.
Which ridership is the table?
Ridership, oh, from ridership.
Yeah. Well, actually, you want us to guess it. Well, we do ridership, but it's on this. This has to be ridership.
Oh.
I don't think the same on the other.
Schedule assignment key.
Yeah.
Is the format the same style as
Must be format.
C#?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, this kind of format string is fairly common to a lot of things.
I like it.
Basically, the $sign here is just a literal. It's just going to put the $sign. This says basically these are optional digits, but it'll extend it out. It isn't limiting it to those digits. And it says that put a comma between thousands. That's why I wanted to go more than the 3. The zeros are required digits, so actually I've only got 0.8, so I probably would want to change this actually to
Yeah, I spelled it wrong.
probably 2 zeros here, so because that's more typical of money. But these are required digits, these 3, and these are optional. But it does say to put a comma between every 1,000. That's how it interprets it. In C#, you could also just put C for currency.
Would you put it in quotes?
Yeah, you put it in quotes, and it wouldn't be part of a format thing. It would be part of a toString statement. Because one of the things that the format function does is it converts the numbers to a string, right, for display. So if I were to try to do math with this after the format statement, it would fail. I can do math inside the format function, but I can't do math outside of it because at that point it's just a string. When you have, basically, because now it has, the commas and it has the $sign, so it's just treating it as a. And as I said, this makes it look a lot nicer in SQL Server, but it can mess you up sometimes in the reporting because you've already got it formatted. And if you wanted to undo that to change the formatting a little bit, it's sometimes difficult to do. So generally, I would advise you not to format before you send it to the reporting services. If this is your report, if you're just what you're doing here is essentially the report, then yeah, format it. Make it as nice as you can. Something I'm not sure I ever showed you either. This is in a grid. Typically, if you're going to put this out as a report in and of itself, I mean, not going into any kind of reporting software, there's another output here, results to text. So I just did that. And I'm going to, well, I'll just run it again. It looks a little different when you run it to text. But typically when they're doing them as reports within SQL Server, rather than put it to a grid, then output it as text, because this could go into Notepad really easily, I think. Yeah. Or any kind of word processor. I didn't make my text output to text. I didn't make that big. Okay, query options, TeleSense. Oh, there's output to grid. When I set up my things, I didn't change the font on the text output. I should have. Now, if you wanted this to be a view, really all you'd have to do is create view. What do we want to call it? Annual revenues. As. And if I just go up to there, that creates it as a view. So it's stored now, it's saved. Let's look at one. I'm going to go back. Let's see what that one wasn't. I thought one of the hardest, but it was a little bit hard, and I think I needed to show you where you get the revenues, how you get the revenues. So now you have an example of that. Let's see if we can get the schedule for a particular bus. I am not even sure if I know how to do that now. I wrote that like last summer, and I think I knew how to do it last summer. Let's see if I know how to do it this summer.
So the last one we did was,
It's sort of like the total, this is actually just the total revenues per year. To get the total revenues per city per year, you would just add the city into that. Which means though, you would have to, some more joins. To get the city,
Right.
I mean, I can do these with you. So where do we get the city? I think it's in the bus route. No, that's the bus route zone. It's in the bus stop. Yeah, there's the bus stop city. Maybe I'll help you do that one too. The key to almost everything that goes on in this, in terms of figuring anything out, is this bus schedule assignment. Where is the city? Is there another way to get the city? Let's see if we can do this with the cities. I'm going to copy this and make some changes to it. So I think the only thing I want is I'm going to add the city, which I believe I have to go down to bus route zone. Is that might be, let's look at the bus route zone. That would save me from having to go one more level there. I think the bus route zone is the city. Oh, it's from bus route. Yeah, so that's where the cities are. And the bus route comes into the bus schedule assignment. So we can say bus route zone, and I'm going to alias that as city. Don't know that it needs a square bracket. And that means we need one more join. Inner join bus route BR on BR dot bus route key equals BSA dot bus route key, and we need to group by bus route zone. So actually, just adding that should be enough. I'm just going to select, run that down, make sure it gives me what I want, and then I'll leave it up there. So it goes by each year by city. So 2013, except we should maybe, can't do this in can't do this in the actual view, but order by bus route zone. Actually, let's order by year.
So my card for the assignment, that you have to code like 5 of those suggested views.
Yeah, so we'll just do a few of those. I'm doing a couple of these. I'm going to store these, and you can use these views. You can count them. That's better when I sorted it by year. So it takes each city, and then it goes to the next year and takes each city, and it gives you the total fares per city. Now, the thing about the view, this part is illegal. You could do it later when you run now. If I create a view, revenues by city as, so if I try to run this, it's going to show, it's going to have an error. Order by clause is invalid in views. Right, you can't do an order by in a view. I don't know why you can't. I've never exactly figured that out. You can't do it in a view, a derived table, an inline function, or a stored procedure. But if you take that order by out, oh, that's because I got two views. There it goes. All right, so I will do, let's look at, I'll do a couple more, and then I'm going to let you guys play a little bit. It'd be nice if you could come up even just with something, at least the two views that might be useful. What else do we have there that would be? Let's try to do a schedule for a particular bus, and then I can show you how that would be a stored procedure. Or it could even be a function, actually, whatever. So there is a bus route key here. So how do you think you would go about? I'm going to create procedure. And I'm going to give it a parameter of, so we want it for a particular bus, right? So I'm going to do it as @bus key int. And one reason I wanted to do a procedure is that it is possible in the reporting software to have reports with parameters, so that you can, to run the report, you'd have to enter the bus key. And the bus key is the bus number, so it's, you could just do this. I'm just going to do sort of like a, so we want to, this is just the bus route for a particular key. We want all the bus stops, right? Is that what I asked?
Yeah.
All right, so bus key and so in the bus route stops, we want the bus stop. So the bus stop has bus stop address, Bus stop city. Do we want the zip code too? So this is all the information about the bus stop. From bus stop, I'm going to enter join with bus route. So let's see. Trying to remember which one I want here. Bus route stops. So let's do this as BS. This one is BRS. Bus stop key. BRS dot bus stop key. I'm thinking this through. I'm going to add one more thing up here, which is just the bus key. And I'm going to do B dot bus key, which doesn't exist yet, but it doesn't like those. Is there no bus stop key there? Oh, it's bus route key. No, bus stop key. What does it not like?
Why use
There's comma instead of equals. Yeah.
Yeah, brain farts. Okay. Bus stop zip. Let's look at that. Did I say zip code? Yep, zip code. And then I want to do another inner join with bus. On b.bus key equals, I think it's BRS. Actually, where does the bus key come in? It's not in bus route stops. It would have to be through I think we have to interjoin bus schedule assignment. On BSA dot bus stop key, bus route key equals BRS dot bus route key. Is that right? Not sure of that. Let's try it though. And then interjoin bus. Although if I have this, I can get the bus key from I have no idea if this works. Where bus key, which I think is actually only in BSA, equals at bus key. Let's see what I've got. This may or may not work. So it made it. That doesn't mean it works. I'm going to execute the procedure USP bus route. And I'm going to give it a number, I don't know, 47. So it all has the same bus route. It shouldn't have 32,000 rows though.
If you change the bus route, it's not a big difference.
It should. Let's just do 72. But it's still got 32,000 rows, and that's way too many. That suggests to me that there's some like a cross join in it. Yeah. What am I leaving out? Because each one should have like 20, 30 stops, not 32,000 stops. Though that may be, all right, I have an idea. This probably will do it. I'm going to say select distinct, because it happens over and over again in the schedules over the years, right? So I'm going to alter this procedure. And then we're just going to make it distinct. So I just did distinct there, and let's see if we do 72 there. 20 rows, that's actually about what it should be. So that worked. That gave me all the stops on a bus route. Yeah, so create view. You need a there should be like a comment. Oh. And then bus stop. This is code. Yeah. So that one was hard for my brain, but it worked, I think. I know why there was 32,000, because that's how many times the route had been done. So it was over and over again as it was run in there, each shift. But if we make it distinct, it'll only show the one thing. So we have that. Which other ones? This one is really hard. I might just say to skip it unless you really want to do it. The total earned by a driver in a year. Also, you'll find that my drivers make remarkable amounts of money, partially because some of them are working 24 hours a day. But to figure out how much a driver earns, you'd have to figure out all their shifts. Well, actually, I think they have a wage. Well, you'd still have to figure out how many times they were driving, I guess, because it's an hourly wage. So if this is a challenge. You don't have to do it unless you want to. This one is also a bit of a challenge. That one might be interesting, but I think it would be similar to what we just did. But try just to do 2 or 3, couple more. I will post the ones I've got. And if you want, before we do reports, I can post a few more. But I thought it'd be good for you to try a few. Also, it says 1 or 2 other possible ones. You could do something simpler. You know, if you want, there can be simpler views. This gives the count of employees by position, but you might just do one for employees in general, or just employees that are drivers, you know, just to show them. a list of drivers might be a good report that's really easy to do. Driving, the position driver is position 1. That's,
You say post, you mean like on the blog spot?
I will put these on the blog, yeah. And then, as I said, I may do a few others so that they're available when we start doing reports next week. But you have to spend like 15, 20 minutes on it. Call it good today. I don't know how I'm going to do 9 hours today.
Are you doing a substitution for 220 today?
Yeah. And there's a lot to do tonight.
Just pointing to the slides in there.
So let me post this and then I will stop the video. I'll post the video too.
Yeah.
Do you need I can come troubleshoot in a moment.
I have to go on my everything.